To be here, you could earn a ticket through an act to benefit your fellow citizens. For one of the celebrity hosts, Trevor Noah, it was clear whose example to follow.
Trevor, international stars have gathered on South African shores to celebrate a life well lived, to give back. Why do you think this is a historic moment for South Africa?
For me, it's a historic moment because, one, we celebrate 100 years of Madiba. And I mean, that in of itself could be its own event, and it should be, and that's why everyone's here to celebrate. You know, Global Citizen has put together a group of people who all love and honor Madiba's legacy, and as a nation, we all know without him and many of the people who fought in the struggle, we wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't be having this interview, we wouldn't have our freedoms, and I think that's something we don't take for granted. And one of the obligations and responsibilities of freedom for me is to try and make sure that other people get to experience their freedom as much as we do. Because without access to sanitation, without access to education, without access to food and water, can we really say people are free? And so for me, that's what today is about, is expressing that freedom and moving people forward and saying, guys, let's keep moving our ideas forward. Let's keep moving the legacy of Madiba forward, because that's what we need to do.
So happy to be here to be part of Mandela 100. I think that the whole world should stop and remember that 100 years ago, we had a man that brought redemption, reconciliation, forgiveness. The world's so divided and full of such rancor. There's no better place to be than South Africa tonight to remind us of the highest level of humanity, and that's what Nelson Mandela represented.
It always seems impossible until
It's done.
And that's what, you know, the spirit of Madiba is. That's why we're all here today, and very honored to be here paying tribute to Tata 100 years later.
You know, this Global Citizen Mandela 100 is a very, very important coming together of great people, achievers from different sectors, and women who rock the world. And I love that. And the fact that we are accentuating what is good about Africa, that makes me feel wonderful.
Sure, you're one of the few South African artists performing today. Yay. How are you feeling? What's going through your mind? How did you prepare your set?
We work very hard, and that's what we always do. So right now, I feel kind of, I'm happy. Like I'm looking forward to seeing my people, because we did the Global Citizen in New York as well, completely like different audience, and then here to perform in front of my people, like I love that. I'm so excited.
You see the crowd.
I saw the crowd.
So much as I felt like I was Black Panther. I felt like, in fact, I was going to take over the world right now. And that for me, just because of the message, why we are here, and not just because it's a concert, just because the fact that we're here to pass a message and wake ourselves up mentally, and you know, which is what Mandela left for us, you know. And Africa, you now know it's our time. We are global and we are one. We are citizens.
A little Instagram birdie said, I saw Oprah on your gram, and I am wondering, are you going to dress Oprah?
Guys, I'm in stitches. Like literally, I'm so grateful that Oprah came to visit the Khat Johan Kutse studio in London. It was just a mind-blowing experience to meet her and to just be in her energy field and just absorb that greatness was so inspiring. And I'm so grateful that she is collaborating with South Africans. That is like the great thing, and that is Oprah for you.
And Asha is performing.
Yes.
How is he feeling?
I would imagine 100,000 people would be a little daunting. I'm nervous for him. I don't know.
I just saw Asha's opening act, and how amazing. He even incorporated the Gwara Gwara, and he did it quite well, so I was quite impressed. And that's what it's about. It's us celebrating, of course, Nelson Mandela's centenary, but also at the same time celebrating a beautiful continent, and the fact that we have the power to make that change. So we're not a charity case. We have that voice is the most important thing about Global Citizen.
UN Goodwill Ambassador for Gender Equality, an impressive title. What does it mean to you?
It means a lot. You know, it is, and I take it very seriously. You know, my own advocacy, I've tried to bring voice to women who are not often heard in terms of how do we inspire each other. We do it by making sure that we know about each other. And, you know, because a lot of the issues we deal with in terms of gender inequality still, right here on the continent and globally, are really changeable very quickly. And it's time.
This means that the world is truly coming together and someone has finally found an idea that is working to make the world a better place. And I think it's really shining through that we're all really connected at the end of the day. And I think today is a very strong representation of that.
One of the objectives is to make sure that we eradicate poverty by the year 2030. Is this a realistic goal?
What it requires is that we focus on the goals and we ensure that we put resources that are required, whether it's from the public sector or the private sector. We've got to put those resources together. We've got to identify communities that are most affected by poverty. And currently, the most impoverished people in South Africa and on the continent are women and youth.
You know, we have a lot of youth development goals that we're trying to achieve. We're trying to make sure that the South African government signs that 1.7 billion that's needed for sanitary education, by the way. So, you know, for us, it's about making sure that those goals are met.
Around events like this, a global citizen festival honoring Nelson Mandela and supported by the Motsepe Foundation, history can turn.